Jamaica's Cannabis Authority grants the country's first license to operate in the medical marijuana industry. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, October 19. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. The long-awaited license were issued on Wednesday by the Cannabis Licensing Authority, the CLA. Everything Oily Labs Limited was given a license as a processor, while Epicon is now licensed to cultivate. Chairman of the CLA, Hyacinth Lightburn, says another 3 applications have been approved for license.
In addition to the licenses being issued today, the CLA has approved another 3 applicants who have been granted licenses and are completing their requirements to have all those being issued. Following them are 57 applicants who are currently at the conditional approval stage, and another 209 applications which are currently being processed.
Agriculture Minister Carl Samuda commended the CLA for being diligent and unswerving in its approval process. Another 57 applications are at the conditional approval stage, and 209 applications are being processed by the CLA. Samuda noted criticism about the pace of approvals, but said Jamaica must ensure it does all the necessary due diligence to ensure it continues to be a part of the global cannabis industry. But he cautioned that while the board should be careful, it must also be swift, as other players globally are moving ahead with their cannabis products.
If we do not move swiftly in the processing of our applications, and if we do not monitor the operations sufficiently to ensure that we meet the standards laid down by the international community who will be trading in this particular product, then we're going to miss the boat. So I just ask that the board be very careful, but at the same time be very swift in the discharge of their responsibilities.
In Jamaica, now that the special zone of operation has taken effect in the West Kingston community of Denham Town, some businesses are complaining of a slowdown in their daily activities. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has named the community as the second zone of special operation, in which security forces will be granted special powers as they try to arrest spiraling crime. This TVJ News report from Vashon Brown examines how the operation will affect businesses.
Still early days, but business operators just outside the zone of special operations in Denham Town say they've already started to see the effects of the zone of special operations on businesses. The manager of Aziza's Beauty Salon at the corner of Regent Street and the Spanish Town Road, Abiba Hines, says business is slower than usual.
Some of the men that are usually my good customers, I don't see them. So I'm wondering, where are they? But and the customers that usually come from other communities, because it says that it's a operation going on, they're a bit skeptical, a little afraid to come out, so we haven't seen those customers either.
In the downtown Kingston business district Coronation Market, not in the zone of special operations, but some vendors say they're still seeing some impact.
It affects us very much. So because a lot of persons don't really want to come down here, because once it has anything to do with curfew and all of that, they just feel that it's happening in the market. But it's not happening in the market, it's outside. But it's like they're saying that, okay, guess what happened now? If it's nearby, that simply means they don't know what can happen. Anything can just flare anytime at all.
The Coronation Market has in recent times been affected by crime and violence, specifically complaints about frequent robberies. It's why some vendors argue that the market should be part of the zone.
It should cover Coronation Market so shopper can come in, shop in a crime-free environment.
So in recent times, for instance, the crime in the market has been a concern. You think, say, if the zone come here, it will help with them concerned?
It will help, of course. And it will work for everybody, shoppers and vendors.
The one was this year in target most. Why you say that?
But others had a different view.
If the soldier and the police should pass them through and through, it don't no wrong. But as long as them come and curfew the market, the whole Jamaica suffer.
A new study focusing on murders in the Bahamas has been released. Out of these Munnings of ZNS Network News tells us about the information that is designed to help stakeholders learn about the increase in crime in the country.
Volunteers for the Ministry of National Security's National Anti-Drug Secretariat, the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and the University of the Bahamas to compose a study titled Solutions to the Murder Problem. The study concentrated on the 719 murders recorded here in the Bahamas between 2010 and 2015. Chapters 1 through 6 focuses on a descriptive analysis of murders, including victims, suspects, detection, and conviction rates, while Chapters 7 and 8 present a comprehensive review on homicide prevention and ways detection rates can be improved. National Anti-Drug Secretariat Director, Superintendent Dr. Chaswell Hanna, listed some of the study's findings.
The Bahamas murder rate ranks 13th out of a survey of 142 nations. Number 2, murders are heavily concentrated in communities which fall below the average household income line. Number 3, persons involved in criminal activity are more likely to be murdered than persons who are not involved in criminal activity. Number 4, 19% of murder victims were on bail. Number 5, 39% of persons charged with murder were on bail. Number 6, when compared to United States, local detection rates tended to be higher.
The final chapter outlines new strategies to reduce the numbers of murders recorded.
Punish the most violent criminal offenders. Number 2, stop illegal guns from entering the Bahamas. Number 3, the establishment of a DNA forensic laboratory. Number 4, dismantling criminal gangs. Number 5, dissuading youths from using drugs.
Officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Solomon Cash, explained how the details of the study can assist in their homicide investigations.
Most of the time it's the end result that we are involved, and that we have to go and investigate the homicide. That's a bit too late. So we welcome where we can identify the root causes and try and prevent these incidences from happening.
Public workers in Grenada are back on the job, but their protest continues. This time it's over what they and their union are saying. They are calling it health concerns at the ministerial complex. Workers in the 5-story building, which houses several ministries, have been going to work for half day, saying that the building poses a health risk. In recent weeks, a number of employees began suffering with acute respiratory ailments. Public Relations Officer at the Public Workers Union, Brian Grimes, said he told the media that some remedial work was done, but their protest will continue until they are satisfied that a full assessment has been addressed. We apologize for the lack of audio in that soundbite. We're moving over to Guyana, where the government on Thursday announced a pay increase for public servants for this year. According to Minister of State Joseph Harmon, those earning 90,000 Guyana dollars and less will be given an 8% increase. Those earning between 100,000 and 299,000 Guyana dollars will get an increase of 6%. Additionally, workers earning between 300,000 and 499,000 Guyana dollars will see an increase of 5%, while those earning between 500,000 and 699,000 Guyana dollars will get an increase of 4%. There will also be a hike in the minimum wage from 55,000 to 66,000 Guyana dollars per month. The announcement follows a meeting earlier this week between union representatives and officials from the Public Service Department. The government lead negotiator Reginald Brotherson said the increases, which are retroactive to January 1st, 2017, would cost 3.5 billion Guyana dollars for the estimated 14,000 public servants. Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, lessons from the Caribbean for the recent, that's lessons for the Caribbean from the recent wave of intense hurricanes. That story and more after the break. Do stay with us.
Join us from November 16th to 19th, 2017 for the Barbados Food and Rum Festival, where acclaimed Barbadian chefs and mixologists are joined by Chef Jean-Georges of the U.S., Chef Tom Akins of the U.K., Chef Chris De La Rosa of Canada, to create dining experiences to delight the senses. Visit GoingPlacesTravel.com to book your packages and visit www.foodandrum.com for more information.
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with diabetes? If so, it is important that you know about Glucerna. Glucerna is a nutritional supplement for people with diabetes and contains Carb Steady, which helps minimize blood sugar spikes. Manage your diabetes with Glucerna. Glucerna, nutrition for people with diabetes, designed for you.
The Caribbean Disaster Management Agency, CDMA, says there are several lessons to be learned from the recent wave of intense hurricanes that has devastated parts of the region. Deputy Executive Director Elizabeth Riley tells CMC News the region needs to revisit its scenario models for weather systems.
Certainly from the CDMA perspective, whilst we would have modeled multi-island impacts from systems, certainly what we would not have envisaged before would have been the impact of 2 Category 5 systems back-to-back and traversing the same geographical space, more or less, in the region. So from the lens of the new norms related to climate variability and change, I think the scenario planning has to be adjusted.
Riley says the plans are not only to be adjusted but must also be acted upon. She says the fact that some buildings were unaffected when Category 5 hurricanes Maria and Irma hit the Leeward Islands is evidence that the region can build stronger. But she says it is a matter of adjusting the construction design criteria for new buildings.
I think that when we're looking at building standards, I know there's usually this discussion around the cost. But the fact of the matter is that we are able to design to withstand significant impacts, and we need to invest in this, because if Maria and Irma are going to be the new normal, it means that we have to adjust the design criteria of our construction.
However, Riley says despite the current focus on hurricanes, organizations and businesses need to take into consideration other natural hazards in their planning.
When we are looking at disaster risk issues, we have to look, one, across the board at the full suite of the hazards that can impact us. We are talking, of course, now about tropical cyclones and particularly hurricanes in the form of Maria and Irma, but we cannot forget that we have earthquakes. We are a very seismically active zone. We have landslides which affect us. There are man-made impacts which need to be given consideration as well. Things like oil spills, which we should not take off the table. So even though we are focused today in a conversation around hurricanes Maria and Irma, when we are planning, we have to plan in a comprehensive manner.
Recovery efforts currently underway in the British Virgin Islands are being backed by international financial institutions. Premier Dr. Orlando Smith disclosed this on Wednesday following recent meetings with officials from the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. Smith, who is also the British Overseas Territories Finance Minister, says they had very productive discussions on the ways in which reconstruction can be financed, both short and long term. And he says he's pleased they have the full support of the CDB. He added that the banks are also interested in rebuilding local structures to withstand future extreme weather events. The Cayman Islands Acting Medical Officer of Health says the British Overseas Territory is Zika-free, but Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez says that doesn't mean the country should be complacent. Earlier this year, Cayman recorded 1 imported case of Zika, but there have been no new locally transmitted cases for over a year now. Dr. Williams Rodriguez attributed that to the efforts of the Mosquito Research and Control Unit, but he says vector control is only one aspect of fighting mosquito-borne diseases.
We're doing very well at that. However, I think it's up to us, for the public, to continue to work to make sure that the mosquito Aedes aegypti doesn't really spread across the country and cause another epidemic to start.
Bermuda's Home Affairs Minister Walton Brown has held candid and constructive talks with the Human Rights Commission over the government's controversial plan to make immigration regulations lawful, even if they contradict the island's Human Rights Act. The Human Rights Commission has argued that it was reckless to undermine the Human Rights Act or have it portrayed as a tool for manipulation. The Commission has been invited to make submissions over the amendments to immigration legislation. Minister Brown said he is committed to accepting submissions on future amendments to the Bermuda Immigration and Protection Act. He has previously said the amendments are designed to protect Bermudans and to block court challenges over Bermudan status from non-Bermudans who can argue that immigration law has discriminated against them based on their country of origin. Brown has invited a commissioner of the Human Rights Commission to join the Immigration Reform Committee. The commission has accepted the invitation. And ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies vice captain warns his side not to be complacent ahead of their 2-test series against Zimbabwe. Stay with us. Sport is next.
Join us from November 16th to 19th, 2017 for the Barbados Food and Rum Festival, where acclaimed Barbadian chefs and mixologists are joined by Chef George of the US, Chef John Akins of the UK, Chef Chris De La Rosa of Canada, to create dining experiences to delight the senses. Visit GoingPlacesTravel.com to book your packages and visit www.foodandrum.com for more information.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and CaribVision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today. West Indies Vice Captain Craig Brathwaite has warned that the upcoming 2-test series against Zimbabwe will not be a straightforward one, and he has urged his teammates to show the same self-belief and fighting spirit they displayed in their shock win over England at Headingley last August. West Indies are heavy favourites to win the series, having never lost a test to the African nation in 8 previous meetings. Zimbabwe is a struggling international side, losing 10 of their last 11 tests in the last 3 years, but the opener said the hosts could prove a dangerous side, especially in their conditions.
One of the main things for us is not to become complacent. I think Zimbabwe is a very good team, especially home. So, for us, I really want us to go there and fight, work with our processes, let them master each process each time. And, the main thing is don't underestimate, go there and play some fight, play some tough cricket.
West Indies have retained an unchanged squad from the England tour as they look to build on the surprise success of the second test when they stunned the host by 5 wickets. Brathwaite, who played a seminal role in the win with scores of 134 and 95, said it was critical West Indies stuck to the principles that brought them success at Headingley.
One thing is just that belief, obviously in the first test, we didn't play well, and coming to the second game, we just had to believe, conditions, weren't going to be easy, but, had to put your mind to the task, and, I think as a group, both in the field and with the bat, we really supporting one another, both, blowing them out in the first day was good, And then batting wise, we really went out there with a plan. We believe in ourselves. It wouldn't have been easy, Some mornings it was overcast, so you had to fight. And I think once we continue to show that fight, we'll keep winning and keep improving.
Well, West Indies stand to gain just 1 point in the ICC rankings from their series tour of Zimbabwe, even if they make a clean sweep of the series. According to an ICC release issued on Thursday, the most the 8th-ranked Caribbean side can achieve with a 2-0 victory is a single point, which would take them up to 76 points in the ICC test rankings. A 1-0 series win, however, will see West Indies remain on 75 points, but the danger comes with a drawn series, as they could lose up to 3 points and slip behind 9th-ranked Bangladesh on decimal points. In the case of an unlikely series defeat, the Windies will slip to 69 points and lose 2 further points with a 2-0 loss. The tour starts in Bulawayo on Saturday. Still in cricket, the Brian Lara Cricket Academy will become the region's newest first-class venue when it hosts 3 of Trinidad and Tobago Red Force's home matches in the regional first-class campaign, which bowls off next week. Cricket West Indies said Thursday it had approved the change for the 2nd, 4th and 7th round matches, which had previously been scheduled for historic Queen's Park Oval, to be now played at the spanking new facility in South Trinidad. Since the Brian Lara Stadium was opened in May this year, it has hosted several high-profile matches, including the playoff and final of the Caribbean Premier League and last week's opening matches of the ICC Women's Championship between West Indies and Sri Lanka. Red Force will now take on Jamaica Scorpions from November 2nd to the 5th in a fixture that will crown the Taruba venue as a first-class venue. UK-based goalkeeper Shaquille Hill has ruled himself out of Bermuda's international friendly against Barbados at the National Stadium next weekend, saying that he needs to focus on himself right now. The Rushall Olympic stopper had been among a trio of overseas-based players confirmed for the October 28 match. However, Hill has since had a change of heart and will now remain with his English non-league club to focus on furthering his career instead. Hill, who played for Bermuda at the CONCACAF Caribbean Under-20 Championship in Costa Rica in February, took part in a trial in Germany with English Championship side Brentford last month, which led him to being recruited by Rushall. The sport hockey now takes the spotlight. Trinidad and Tobago's stickmen have cruised to the top of standings on day 2 of the Pan American Indoor Hockey Championships currently underway in Guyana. This after they handed Barbados an 8-2 drubbing at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. Host Guyana, meanwhile, is yet to make their mark at the home. HGP TV's Stanford Howard took in the action and filed this report.
After losing their opening 2 round-robin matches on day 1, the national women's side was once more defeated by defending champions Canada. The Canadians scored both their goals during the first half of the game in the 6th minute and Catalia Lee in the 15th minute, both managing to get a field goal past Alyssa Chavert. After upsetting Barbados in their first round-robin match, the men crumbled to Trinidad and Tobago 4-0. Guyana men who look strong and poised and ready to take on Trinidad with a scoreless first half. But Trinidad opened their account in the 25th minute. Reynolds Jordan was given a penalty stroke 2 minutes later. The men in the Golden Arrowhead tried everything, attacking every chance and defending, but the Trinidadians managed to score 2 more goals to seal the win.
And finally, in horse racing, Barbadian riding star Patrick Husbands posted a double on Wednesday's midweek card to move to 99 wins as the long season at Woodbine continued to wind down. The 7-time champion picked off wins in race 6 with 8-1 Chance Hollywood Critique and in race 7 with 221 One Choice Battle of Burlington to make his mark on the 8-race program. Husbands kicked off his success over 7 furlongs when he carried 5-year-old bay gelling Hollywood Critic to a narrow victory over the 3-year-olds and upward. The pair stalked the pace set by 4-1 Bet Signature Data with Rockin' Candy a length behind before closing strongly on the turn, getting to the front with a furlong on a run and storming to the wire by a head. Woodbine's Robert Geller has the call.
One away back to third, Hollywood Critic. And they're out by a length to Daylight Breeze, coming up the inside, muscling forward well. Then Uncle B, Chiricahua Signal. Last of all is New Pagodi. Out in front, they're in virtual racebook order. And showing the way remains Signature Data. A length to Rockin' Candy, one to Hollywood Critic. Daylight Breeze fourth. 1 length away came Chiricahua Signal. Uncle B's dipped out, and New Pagodi's on the outside. They come to the final 5/16ths, and there's nothing between Rockin' Candy and Signature Data. At their girth, Hollywood Critic. Now Uncle B coming alive behind Daylight Breeze, and as they corner taken wide, New Pagodi with Chiricahua Signal. Top of the lane, Rockin' Candy. Tackled by Hollywood Critic. And Hollywood Critic in front. Daylight Breeze on the outside coming at them. And down the extreme outside is Uncle B. Daylight Breeze racing up on the outside to join Hollywood Critic. Hollywood Critic in front. And Daylight Breeze coming neck and neck to the wire as they hit the wire. Very close. Hollywood Critic on the inside in a photo with Daylight Breeze behind them.
And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with diabetes? If so, it is important that you know about Glucerna. Glucerna is a nutritional supplement for people with diabetes and contains Carb Steady, which helps minimize blood sugar spikes. Manage your diabetes with Glucerna. Glucerna, nutrition for people with diabetes, designed for you.
Sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh, look, listen, feel, realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
Again, the major developments of this day: Jamaica's Cannabis Authority grants its first 2 licenses to companies in the medical marijuana industry. And in sport, the Windies vice captain warns his side not to be complacent ahead of their 2-test series against Zimbabwe, and that starts this weekend. Well, that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to CarnaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Do have yourself